There's a silent crisis brewing in China. It's the story of an entire generation that's starting to give up on the future.
To really get what's going on, we have to start with a phrase that perfectly captures the mood of so many young people there. It's called tongue ping, or lying flat. And look, it might sound like a funny internet meme, but it is so much more than that. It's really this quiet, personal revolution, a conscious choice to just disengage from a system that many feel is completely rigged against them.
And that's really the heart of it, right? It's deciding to just opt out, to quit a race they feel like they can never, ever win. So the big question is, why? What pushed them to this point?
Well, a huge part of the answer goes back to a foundational promise made to them by their parents' generation, a promise that, for so many today, feels completely and utterly broken.
Just think about this for a second. Every single year, more than 10 million new university graduates flood into the job market, a market that's already saturated. The economy just can't create enough good jobs to absorb them all. And this is where you really see the massive gap between the generations. You know, for their parents, a degree was the golden ticket. It was the absolute surest path to a better life. But for young people today, it's often a burden of debt and a ticket to insane competition for jobs that don't even require a degree. So what does this actually look like on the ground? Well, it's widespread underemployment. You've got this surreal situation where the most educated generation in China's history is taking jobs as restaurant staff or delivery drivers just to get by. Those stable, white-collar office jobs they were all promised, they're just vanishing. Okay, so what about the ones who do manage to land one of those coveted professional jobs? You'd think that's the happy ending, right? Well, not exactly. The environment they walk into is relentlessly harsh, and it's basically defined by two brutal realities. First up, you've got the notorious 996 work culture. You may have heard of this. It's this grueling, unspoken standard of working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. It's a system designed for burnout, and it leaves almost no room for a life outside of the office.
And if that wasn't enough, there's this other, frankly terrifying idea called the 35-year-old exit theory. It's like this invisible countdown clock ticking over every young professional's head. The unspoken rule is that by the time you're 35, you're seen as too expensive, not flexible enough, and you get pushed out for the next wave of cheaper graduates.
So when you put it all together, this is the bleak timeline they're facing. Grind through your 20s, peak around 30, and then face being pushed out by 35. It's a career path that's designed to last barely a decade, with absolutely zero long-term security. All of this constant grind, this total lack of stability, it's not just affecting careers anymore. It's bleeding into the most personal parts of life. It is fundamentally reshaping the very idea of family. You know, when you ask young people in China about starting a family, you hear the same thing over and over. It's this one powerful question that just says it all. It cuts right to the heart of the matter. The basic building blocks of a stable life feel totally out of reach. And here's the critical takeaway. These aren't just personal life choices anymore. They're becoming cold economic calculations. Marriage is now seen as a luxury. Having kids is a huge economic risk. And the result? A demographic crisis on a scale we've never seen, with China's birth rate falling even faster than Japan's. So with this wave of disillusionment, of despair really spreading, you have to ask, how has the state responded? And the answer, well, it tells you everything you need to know. Instead of tackling the problem head-on, the official data was just hidden. After the numbers for youth unemployment hit a record high, the government simply stopped publishing them. Poof, gone. But of course, that doesn't make the problem go away. Independent researchers have looked into it, and their estimates are just staggering. They suggest that in cities, the real rate for young people could be over 40%. That's a huge portion of an entire generation effectively locked out of the economy. And that brings us to what might be the most important takeaway of all. This isn't just about jobs or birth rates anymore. The problem is much, much deeper. It's a fundamental crisis of faith. It's a complete loss of belief in that basic social contract, the promise that if you work hard, your life will get better. And that leaves us with a final, really profound question. What happens next for a nation when its own future has stopped believing in it?